Dumb, cocky, stupid, egotistical. These might be the first words that come to mind when someone mentions the name Jake Paul to you. But it might be exactly this that has led him to amassing his astonishing net worth of over $100 million. Love him or most likely hate him, it is hard to argue that as years have gone by, he has become more and more of a household name. From cringy YouTube content to a provocative boxer, today we will be talking about how this man here, who has somehow become the highest paid athlete under the age of 25. Well, let's start by going back a few years. Like many other YouTubers, including his big brother Logan, Jake Paul got his start on Vine in 2013. By the time the app was discontinued, Paul had over 5 million followers and 2 billion views on the app, where his humor and stunts especially appealed to a young audience. This popularity amongst a young demographic landed him a role on Disney Channel, which eventually would lead him to getting fired for his, let's say, not so Disney-friendly YouTube channel. By this point, Jake was 20 years old and had already jump-started his infamous Team 10 group. He had more than 8.5 million YouTube subscribers and filmed pranks and stunts in his neighborhood that included starting a massive fire in his backyard, doing dirt bike stunts on his street, and building a water slide to shoot people into his pool. His neighbors called the situation a living hell and a war zone. After Paul leaked his own address online, fans showed up en masse, and by that point, his neighbors in Beverly Grove had enough. Paul's neighbors met with the police and city officials to discuss the possibility of a class-action public nuisance lawsuit, and the company that owned Paul's house sued him for $2.5 million. After being fired from Disney, this is when Jake decided to up the levels of his douchebag ways. He would release the classic It's Everyday Bro, which has close to 300 million views as of today. The music video could be described as one of the worst songs uploaded to the platform, but what a genius move it was by Jake Paul. A song that has cringy dance moves and such awful lyrics that include "England is my city" and just dropped some new merch and it's selling like a god church. We still remember these lyrics even today because everywhere you went, someone was talking about it.
So I guess he grew up with him, I'm guessing, I don't know.
So he's doing good deeds? Okay.
I told you.
No!
It's everyday, bro, with the Disney Channel flow.
No.
Even though his content was obnoxious and hard to watch, it is indeed hard to argue with numbers, as it did in fact lead him to
5 mil on YouTube in 6 months, never done before.
But this might be exactly what taught him that being talked about, whether in a good or bad light, would keep leading him to this sort of success. Almost every week it felt like there was a different scandal with Jake Paul's name in the headline. This includes him literally dropping a diss track on teachers and telling his fans they don't need education because he managed to turn out rich and famous and got bad grades at school. Yeah, you heard that right. This would allow him to market his roadmap to success scheme. He launched Edfluence in 2018 that would apparently help kids become rich and famous just like the main man himself. Yep, that's right. You don't need school kids. You only need to pay $64 and you can become just like Jake Paul. Another very cleverly dumb stunt pulled by Jake Paul was his fake marriage controversy with Tana Mongeau. You guys remember the very obviously fake wedding pulled off by the two YouTubers back in 2019? It was obviously fake and set up in a way that it wouldn't be permanent. Well, this fake stunt provided Jake Paul with an estimate of $600 million in media value. Even though it is easy to look at and make fun of, at the end of the day, when you are talking about over $500 million worth of exposure, who is the real winner? The main problem with being the main headline and media for controversy after controversy is that it gets harder to stay relevant, as most people would just see it and go, oh, there's Jake Paul doing something stupid again. So from Jake Paul's viewpoint, what else can he do to keep the people talking? Well, the only answer is for the controversies to keep getting more and more extreme in order to keep his level of relevance. Another reason he would need the controversies to escalate is due to his drop in viewers as his vlogging stage was coming to an end. And somehow, he managed to pull it off. Let's just look at the Arizona looting incident during the George Floyd protests back in May 2020, where Jake Paul was captured on video contributing to the mayhem by going into a smashed up store. Since Jake Paul, as we have already mentioned, is worth quite a lot of money, it doesn't really seem worth his time to go around stealing tops from local stores. Jake's defense is that he was at a restaurant and got his videographer to record the crazy scenes and that it was an accident that was caught on camera. But was it really an accident? Only a couple of months after this, Paul caused a controversy yet again when he threw a massive party for his music video shoot in July 2020 during a high point in COVID-19 cases in California. Videos showed maskless influencers swinging from heavy machinery in Paul's backyard. Many would say it's just Jake Paul being Jake Paul, but is he being the idiot we all like to picture him as, or are these decisions actually calculated? Maybe Jake Paul always knows in his head that it gets the people talking and ultimately leads to more media coverage. This is very much up for debate though, as it did in fact lead to his YouTube viewership heading on a downward spiral, but this now leads to a whole new question entirely. Is Jake Paul even considered a YouTuber these days? Or is he better referred to as a boxer? With Jake heading into the world of fighting, he would also embrace being this hated, controversial figure, leading to his very suited stage name of the Problem Child. It is well known when it comes to selling fights that controversy tends to be one of the main strategies. When looking at a character like Conor McGregor, being provocative and loudmouth can lead to your advantage, as it has led Conor to become one of the most well-paid and well-known names in the fighting world, with clips of his best moments gaining millions of views online even today. However, as the internet has already pointed out, Jake tends to resemble a Conor McGregor wannabe. But hey, why not? If you're already controversial and people already don't like you, then why not run with it and redeem all the publicity you can get? The goal is to build as much tension and hostility as possible before the fight, which you have to admit Jake Paul is pretty good at. This leads to more people wanting to view the fight, leading to more sales, which again ultimately leads to more money for both fighters. Everyone would want to tune in to watch Jake's fight, as they would love to see him finally get his ego knocked. Jake would pick his fighters very particularly, from fighting retired basketball players to retired MMA fighters. Everyone may be buying his fights to hopefully see that Jake Paul knockout, but unfortunately his haters would be the ones to help line his pockets even more. His 3 fights against Ben Askren, Nate Robinson, and Tyrone Woodley would lead to Jake earning a cool $45 million, making him the highest paid athlete under the age of 25. The fans finally got what they were after though, when Jake would face an actual boxer in February this year. He managed the full 8 rounds against boxer Tommy Fury, but took the loss on points, finally getting the humbling the world has been waiting for. However, I'm sure Jake Paul won't be too sad due to his apparent earnings of $30 million from that one fight alone. Some people are saying his career with boxing is done, but Jake continues to play his controversial character and does have an upcoming fight with Nate Diaz in August this year. Jake Paul has also recently raised $50 million alongside sports betting entrepreneur Joey Levy to create the world's first direct-to-consumer micro-betting focused sports betting company, Betr. You have got to admit, using his name whilst it's hot in the sports industry to open his own sports betting site is a very smart play, adding to the point that even though Jake Paul may be obnoxious and come off as a dumb influencer, he may just be the world's dumbest genius. But who knows what the future has in store for him? Will Jake Paul become the first YouTube billionaire? Will he become more of a calm character as time goes on? And maybe Jake Paul will in fact be the world champion one day. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and if you did enjoy this video, please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.